that in a short period of time, he was going to take on the world. Soon after this, he would be tempted by Satan.
Right.
And he would be turned away, and his words would be turned around to the point where they would crucify him.
You're right.
Yeah.
Right, Toby.
Only to do good, but he knew to do good, he would have to suffer and die.
Right.
And
Yeah, it's prophesied.
and this would been, all this had been prophesied time and time before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Through Isaiah, Elijah,
Oh, yeah.
that would be a man come through the wilderness that would proclaim and make his way path straight.
Yeah.
John's only goal was to be born, or a whole purpose in this life. God ordained him to be born
Come on.
and spread the word
Yeah.
that his son is going to be coming
Yeah.
Pathway for him.
and make it right. Because before people, the Jews all thought that they were God's children, which they are, and that they thought that when they would go into heaven, that there would be no payment for them. That they were, if they were a Jew, that they would automatically go to heaven.
Right. You're right.
John the Baptist was our first preacher saying that this is a Messiah and you needed to repent, whether you be a Jew, Pharisee, a priest, or a Gentile, that you had to accept this man called Jesus.
Amen.
And that same preaching that started from this day, from John the Baptist, still is being preached today.
You're right.
Because the good Lord died on the cross, he went to heaven, and he said he'd be coming back.
Yes, sir.
And it's the same principle. You see that the prophecy before this had come true, and Jesus is not going to make this prophecy untrue. He's coming back. I haven't seen it. There's a movie called 2012 where the world ends at 2012, and been going to basketball games with kids, and I've been hearing people start talking about it, saying my kids are coming home, and asking them about the world ending, because the kids see a movie or hear other kids talk about it, and I'm thinking, through the mouths of babes, whether it's through man or not, that the people are looking at 2012 as the ending days. And I heard the little girl ask her mommy, she said, what's going to happen? And so happened the little girl goes to church. She plays softball and she's been baptized. We went and seen her baptism. She said, what does it matter if it ends? She said, you know where you are, don't you? Are you saved? She said, yes. She said, well, you've been baptized? She said, yes. She said, well, there's no need to worry about it. But if she's doing it, then how many other kids is going back home and asking their parents, about this?
Mm-hmm.
And how many can say, well, you're ready, so don't be afraid.
Yeah.
And it's, I'm not saying 2012 is it, but, God knows when he's going to come.
Right.
Just like the Bible says, there'll be a great falling away. Now, what if, let's just say hypothetical, we think 2012 is going to be it. Well, then everybody gets scared. Everybody tries to get saved. Then 2012 comes around and they don't. Then we have a great falling away, and then God comes back.
You're right.
The Bible says, if you read the Bible, he tells us what's going to happen. We just don't comprehend how it is today. But God talks about that there'll be a revival, and then a great falling away, and then soon after that the day shall end. So the world's getting afraid over man thinking it's 2012. But God knows the day, and He knew the day when He watched His Son perish on that cross when He'd be coming back. And it's up for us to be ready.
Oh, yeah. You should be ready at all times.
Be ready at all times. Prepare yourself.
You're right.
You know, we study and we learn, and it's up to us to make our hearts ready. Even as Christians, you know, you might say yourself as a Christian, but deep in your heart, you might know that you might have fell short. It's up to us to be ready.
Right, Toby.
You know, none is perfect, and I fail him daily. And every evening I try to ask him, forgive me if I failed you, whether I knew it or not. Because, you know, we're a light unto everybody else. And if you think nobody's looking at you, then you're wrong. Because everybody's looking at you. How you act, what you do. We are Jesus' apostles now. Just like John the Baptist had a role, we all have a role in our daily lives to show that we are Christ-like. And just like John the Baptist, that was his whole goal, was to prepare and make the way straight for Jesus' coming.
Right.
And, you know, and I thought, you know, he wasn't credited. I mean, he lived you know, we seen camel's hair and wild honey and locusts was his life. But oh, what a job, a blessing that he had to be ordained the man who would tell the world that he is coming, and to see him come. You know, that's, you know, I couldn't imagine. And, you know, John had been separated from Jesus. You know, it's not like he saw him every other day. Well, he's coming. He knew when Jesus come that who he was. He didn't have to say, I'm Jesus, I'm here. He knew when he looked upon him that this was Jesus. And
I believe we will too, Toby.
that's right.
When we see his face, we'll know exactly who he is.
Oh, yeah. And he is, you know, John was, he was ordained by God himself, which by man he could have been a priest and done his thing. But he was ordained by God, just like Richard. I'm a teacher. I can tell you stories and tell you. But Richard is ordained by God himself.
Yep.
He's called upon.
You're right.
And you got to be called upon. And when you're called, it's your calling. Just like John the Baptist, just like the prophets of old, Richard is no different from John the Baptist. He's been called to tell the world and make the way as straight as for them to, you know, it ain't hard to become a Christian. Richard's job is to make it as straight as possible for you to accept Jesus. It's the same.
You know, Toby, I think John the Baptist and Richard too, they got a hard job, but they enjoy their job.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
They enjoy it. That's most things. And they speak with authority. When he speaks, we listen.
That's right.
Just like John. That's true.
Because as a teacher, I can put you to sleep. I can sit here and mumble and jumble around, and you'll sit there and you'll go to sleep. But, you know, when a man of God with authority tells you and speaks to you,
You're right.
you'll listen. And you'll know from going from church to church when a man is ordained from God. And I mean, I've seen it. I've been to a lot of churches throughout my whole life, and I could tell when somebody was a businessman or a preacher man.
You're right.
And there's a difference. There's guys out there, they run this as a business.
Right.
And they don't have, I mean, I'm not saying you should do the job as a preacher and that's it, and make it your income. But I mean, it's a business.
Yeah. You're
And
right.
it's sad.
Yep.
But, you know, Jesus will bless that church whether or not. Because a lot of times people that goes to that church is the ones that's not chastised.
Amen.
Because if you know, it's a good church. It makes you feel good, and you get a self gratification out of it, and you go home. But they're missing the word that you're going to hell if you don't have Jesus.